Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Nas. Hytale is finally here. Been waiting so long for this, as I'm sure many of you have been as well. Um, I didn't get an absolute ton of time to play. I tried playing as much as I possibly could, of course, but I had some technical difficulties and I had to cut the stream a few different times. But nonetheless, got some survival in, got some creative in. We did a few different things, and you'll see that here in a bit. But I wanted to do a quick tips and tricks video of things that I kind of learned on day one. And yeah, let's get right into it. So, blocking doesn't have to be timed. And I guess I should immediately add this on. Seemingly every weapon has a block. The only downside to it is obviously if you look at my energy bar at the bottom middle, every time that I do it, it eats up a bit of stamina, right? So you don't want to just be spamming it to spam it kind of thing, but you can just hold it after doing it. You won't regen in this span of time, and it won't deteriorate in this span of time. But when you do get hit, you will take a chunk of your stamina rather than your health. So if it doesn't matter if they're like swinging and you perfectly parry it, boom, or if you're just holding it down. Obviously, you can get more attacks in, depending on the mom and their attack, yada yada. But small thing, super important, is use your block because you will die pretty quick, especially if you're fighting multiple things. Um, I have the shield. Oh gosh, is it this one? Yeah, the shield over here in the Armor's Workbench, which is how you get your different armors, and we'll get into some of the materials and stuff later. But I haven't really found a purpose for the shield, but I do know that when you have one, it goes in this slot right here, the little Z slot, and I haven't really found any other way to pull it out other than having an empty hand. I don't know exactly why this is the way it is, but that's how it's done at the moment. This is a big one. Splitting stacks. This I had some people stop into the stream and ask about it. But if you have the block in your hand, if you look in this bottom right section, you can right click and it places one. You can resize the stack with your scroll wheel, and you can shift scroll, and it'll instead of doing it by one each time you scroll, it'll do it by 5 each time you scroll. And you can split it like that. And then if you want to just have the stack before you pick it up, you can shift right click and I'll take half the stack. You can right click, it'll take one. And if you shift a left click, it'll transfer to another inventory. Obviously, I don't have an inventory to transfer to, but it takes it from this inventory to like a chest, for example. That took me a good minute to kind of learn. I didn't see it until at least halfway through the stream. But anyway, when placing blocks with multiple orientations, aka fence post, walls, slabs, stairs, etc., you'll get a preview, kind of like what you would with a block. A block doesn't have this because obviously, no matter how you place it, it takes up the full block. But with a slab, right, we have vertical half slabs now, hey. But if you hit R to rotate the block, you can place it how you want. So you can place it up against the wall, vertical half slab. You can place it on the top half. You can place it on half slab on the opposite side using this as a base. And you can use it as the bottom half. Right? Super, super important, super nice. Meaning you don't have to do the tedious, like, shifting back and forth to get a certain direction that you want with, like, stairs, for example. Or even the slabs can be very tedious. It took me a while to understand this because before, like, when I wanted to do a top slab, I was placing like blocks up here and then placing it on the bottom of those blocks because every time I looked at a block, it would just do the vertical half slab, and I was like, that's not what I'm trying to do. Anyway, cooking food. So to cook food early, you need a campfire. I do not have one here because I am unprepared. But to get a campfire going, you need... Oh, yeah. Oh, I guess that's another different trick. You can jump up ladders. Just be careful when you are doing it, because if you go up to like the side, for example, you'll just kind of keep falling. You want to kind of line yourself up, and then you can just spam jump. That's the builder's workbench. You need... I mean, I guess you can technically do it in your inventory too. I did mine with the workbench the first time I did it, so I guess that's why I thought that. But you need 4 sticks and 2 rubble. To get 4 sticks and 2 rubble, honestly, you kind of just explore. You can chop down a tree with your bare hands the first time, and you'll get a whole bunch of sticks when the tree falls. And then rubble is kind of just all throughout the map. Every now and then you get these weird little rock structures like that over there. I guess, yeah, you'll just kind of find it out about, and you'll run up to it, and you don't even have to break it, you can just pick it up. Yeah, look, stone rubble. Right, that's how you make your campfires. Otherwise, if you're mid-tier, and you have your workbench already, you can go to this third tab here. Here's all your different workbenches, right? And I guess we'll kind of go through each and every one of them, but the chef's stove is the one to get the rest of your food. So I haven't even used these tabs, if I'm being honest, at all. And I haven't used this third tab either. I basically just use this one. And that's because when you go caving for the first time, getting your first bit of copper, first bit of iron, you'll come across a few different mobs and whatnot, and they give raw meat. That's the one that I've chosen. You can get fruit off of the berry bushes that spawn literally everywhere. You can get vegetables from farming crops and whatnot, and we'll get to that in a second. But primarily I just chopped trees down, killed stuff, got meat, and was like, hey, I have a food source, boom. And that's basically all I've been using this entire time is meat skewers. The builder's workbench, this is how you get all your different variations. There's not a crafting recipe where you have like the bottom 3 of a 3x3 grid to get your slab, your 2x3 to get the walls, whatever. Like, you just put the main block that you're trying to turn, and you just boop. It's like the grindstone. If I'm not mistaken. No, I don't sound right. Whatever. You know what I mean if you're a Minecraft player. The furniture workbench. This is one of the nicer ones, especially if you're super into all these like niche details. The furniture workbench is how you get pretty much all your decorative kind of blocks. Nothing crazy. Some of the more core stuff will be your furnace, which you need a fuel source. I've been using just wood that I've chopped down from trees. You put your fuel source here, your ores here, and you'll get out a ingot from the ore, and you'll also get charcoal from burning the fuel source. We showed you this earlier. This is how you get your armors, and these are how you get your different weapons. My favorite personal combo, so now we're getting into that now, is obviously the daggers and the bow, just because you can literally do a charge. Boom. If you have enough stamina, and I guess I should also explain this. I'm jumping all over the place. You can do the charge, but when you hit something, you like bounce back. I wish I had a better way of making an example here. When you do your charge, you bounce back if you hit the target, and so you can use that bounce to start charging up your bow if you really want, and then you can use the second bit of your stamina to increase the gap and dash away. So it's been my favorite little combo, is you do a little charge. Oh gosh, it's because I'm on like quicksand. I was like, what the heck? See how I did like a bounce back, and then you could just poof. It's a nice little mobility kind of thing. Anywho, next thing, yes. each piece of gear tier-wise difference, aka your base, like stone tools to copper to iron to whatever the next tier is. I honestly don't know. I think it's a thorium, if I remember right. And then adamantium, cobalt, yada yada. Yeah, thorium, cobalt, adamantium, and then mithril. Sorry. Each tier difference on both the armors and the like weapons and stuff. So even all these, boom, 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 boom. There's 6 different, pretty much, in each different gear piece. So chest, helmet, leg, or not. We'll get to that. Your different armor pieces and weapons. There's 6 different pieces. Seemingly is like a 30 to 40% stat buff. So damage for weapons and defensives for armor is like a 30 to 40% upgrade each tier. Now, this blends up perfectly for me, but the armor setup is unlike most in this genre, especially if you're most comparing this to Minecraft. Minecraft has helmet, chest plate, leggings, boots. Hytale has helmet, chest plate or cuirass, gauntlets, aka gloves, boots / greaves. So the reason why this is important is because this kind of changes the dynamic. In Minecraft, your chest piece is your strongest defensive to like cost ratio, and then your leggings are, and then your helmet, and then your boots. In Hytale, your chest plate is still your biggest defensive, but because there's no longer leggings, your gloves are actually your weakest piece out of all of them. So it goes chest, boots, helmet, gloves. Or, sorry, cuirass, greaves, helm, gauntlets. Right? Thought that was good to know. We already kind of went over weapon combos. I said my favorite one. This is a big one too. Upgrade requirements for your tool stations, your furnaces, your blacksmith anvil, the workbench upstairs, the armor's workbench, the chef's, what the heck is it called? We'll see in a second. All of your upgrade requirements are on this right side here, this right window, when you're in them. So for a T2 armor's workbench, so that way I can craft the thorium gear, right, is 20 copper, 20 bone fragments, 20 medium leather, and 100 azure logs. Where you get the azure logs, I'm not entirely quite sure just yet. The rest of them are kind of easy to come by. Obviously, copper is one of the more common mining materials. Go in any cave, you'll see a ton of it. Bone fragments you'll get from mobs, particularly, obviously, skeletons. Medium leather you'll get from medium-sized mobs, which I've kind of come across, which is like wolves, primarily has been my biggest source. And a few others. But I already upgraded my workbench to T2. But we'll go ahead and craft another one real quick, just that way you can see the... I'll just break this later. To get from T1 to T2, you need 30 copper, you need 20 iron, and you need 20 linen scraps. Once again, copper and iron's common as heck. You go in any cave, you'll see a ton of both of them. Linen scraps, on the other hand, you'll get from PvP, pretty much. There's some skeletons that typically, from what I've seen, I've done a couple worlds now, you'll see close to spawn on the surface, or like this structure that I'm in right now, a ton will spawn in here pretty frequently, hence why I set up here. Yeah, break that and toss it. Also, you toss with G instead of Q. Or well, that might have just been a me thing. I don't know. You toss with G. What are some other things that I'm missing out? Yes, some of the more important things actually. So, pretty much all of the stuff that I've shown so far. Obviously, it's nice to go do all the basics. You go mining, you make your armor, yada yada. Something that I do recommend most people start off early is actually the farmer's workbench, because it seems to be one of the only like genuinely repeatable farms that you can get more than just food benefits out of. So a few different things, right? When you get your farmer's workbench, you get your hoe, which allows you to start tilling dirt to be able to plant seeds. More importantly, you get the wooden bucket, which is how you get your water and whatnot for if you do farms later. We'll see down the line what people come up with. You get your shears, which you can use to obviously pretty similar to Minecraft as well. Get your shrubs, your grasses, the this, the that, for your niche detail foliage. Get your watering can, so that way you can grow your crops faster. But the reason you want to do crops is because you see right here, it uses this essence of life, which you get every single time that you harvest any crop in the game. So whether that's carrots, wheat, cabbage, anything on this list, you get essence of life. But you have to use that essence of life to also get seeds. But then you can also get all the different sapling types as you upgrade your workbench, of course. But you get all the different sapling types, which means you can get all your different woods for your builds and this and that without having to travel a ludicrous distance. Obviously, like I said, you still have to upgrade it. You get all your different seeds for farming life essence, but also just different foods for eating. Here's a big thing that I'm about to show you in a bit. This conversion right here of 100 essence of life into a greater essence. This is important for a NPC shop that I came across from the Kweebecs. I think that's right. Kweebecs. I'm going to be honest, I'm not super informed on the lore. I'm pretty sure it's Kweebecs, but forgive me if I got it wrong. And then here's all your different essence of life crafts back into, or no, sorry, this is if you want to turn the extra crops back into extra essence of life. Here's a nice little decorative, but also niche farm tool. When you get T2, which really doesn't take much, I just need to upgrade mine, you get these stone planters, which are very nice for just kind of having around. That way you don't have to do what I'm doing right here. And see how every time I harvest, I'm getting the little green stuff that's going up. You get quite a bit each time too, which is really nice. And boom, I have 107. Then I have all this cabbage that we can use in food. But that's super important. I'm gonna start running to the trader real quick, and obviously it's nighttime, so try and survive the night. My bad. Oh wait. Oh crap. Of course I missed one. I'm in a rush, so I did not script this video. I apologize. I'm not trying to waste anybody's time, of course, but here I am. I'll try and actually put timestamps, so that way at the very least you can just skip over this. And it's probably going to be put as me blabbering about multiple times. Before I get into this, I want to say this is Kweebec. Before I get into this, something I did want to note too is to do the third perspective, front and back. To do the front one, the default key is C. To get in front of you, you can spin it around so long as you like hold it. For whatever reason, V just is like a over the shoulder kind of POV, but you don't have to hold this one. C you do, but you have that 360 view. V you can just tap it and it's in third-person perspective. Yeah, I'll show that in a sec. But this trader here, you get spices for 20, essence of life, you get salt for 20, dough for 20, meat skewer. I haven't really seen, like, if this just repeatedly grows. If so, it might actually be a decent investment to get a berry bush, but I don't know if shears pick up bushes. I need to test that out. But this has been the only way I've seen of getting early blue tier / rare foods. And the Kweebec serves apple pie and meat pie for 50 and 75. They don't really have that, like, they don't have a stat difference. Really. You get health boost 3, I guess, instead of stamina boost 3. But I honestly would probably take the stamina boost 3 over health boost 3, me personally. But, like I said, the reason that we brought up the greater essence of life is because this is how you get the recipes. I'm assuming that in the future, there's going to be a ton of these kind of niche things where you have to get the recipes to be able to craft certain things. This is something I just kind of wanted to note very early on. And these restock at 6 a.m. every day. Obviously, at this farm, you can get all the wheat, you can get all the carrots. And from what I've kind of noted, actually, I'm pretty sure they're replanting every time I come back. Because I could have sworn I harvested quite a few of those last time, and they're still there. And then, quick. Probably going to skip over this bit, or edit it out, whatever. I mean, yeah. I'll edit a lot of this out. Okay. It's not so late that I'm terribly too worried. My worry is I'm going to say something important in the meantime and then need it and have to cut it out. Yeah. Oh wait. A big reason that the Workbench T2 is so important is because in your Stations tab, the third tab, when you get the Workbench to T2, you unlock being able to get the Alchemist Workbench and the Arcanist Workbench. Obviously, this is how you get your potions, and this is presumably how you get your enchants. I haven't been able to test this because obviously I do not have Thorium or Essence of the Void, because I don't really know how to get either at the moment. And I need gold for this. And I went searching for gold for like 2.5 hours, and I did not find any. So I don't know where those spawn. But I digress. A nice way to get your light hide early is what I found. When you go into caves, the mobs like spawn as you kind of show up. If you go run off a little bit deeper in the cave and mine, and then come back, they'll typically respawn. So you'll hit this. I dug out a little area for them to spawn. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But look at all these mobs. You just hit them with that. Hit them with that. They're dead. Boom. Okay. He spawned right here. You're gonna try and... Oh, of course I missed. Get this guy. And then if you just keep like running down, you do your mining. And then typically after a little bit, obviously I'm not gonna sit here for a while, but like look at these. I literally just ran through this and all of a sudden there's more mobs. Like that did not take long, but obviously you have to get in like a spawning area, I guess is the best way to describe it. Yeah, see? More of them spawn. And then this guy spawned. Oh. So, just keep going in the caves. In particular, the in particular, the rats seem to give like some of the best light hide drops that I've noticed anyway. The spiders, I don't believe drop light hide at all. I've pretty much only strictly gotten venom sacks from them. So another thing to note, when you do block, it does block the venom spit, which I literally just showed it. So you can rewind, watch that over. You can block the poison attack from them, which is super nice. So let's scooch on over, cut to the creative mode. Wah, yeah, 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 wah, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. These are gonna be way more niche, but I feel like I have a bit more experience with world edit and like Matica and whatnot for Minecraft that it kind of transfers over to this. But some of the more, this is the guild hall that I'm working on, by the way. But some of the more like common tools that I've used so far hasn't really been the paintbrush just yet. I haven't really had a use case for it. Mostly because I'm not doing like terrain stuff. But the selection tool and the paste tool are, I use this an absolute ton. If you couldn't tell, I'm gridding everything out. But the selection tool, right? All you do is you left click, you can hold left click, and then you drag it out as wide as you want, right? And then when you let go, you get verticality, and then you set it to the verticality that you want. If you don't like any of this, each of these blue big panels, you can click and drag, hold and drag, however you want it. Alright. There we go. Right. This is basically your copy tool for the most part. But you can also use it as a kind of like layout. So like right here, I see, oh, you can see a use case for that. I see 13 and 13 on the length and width, right? That's how I know it is a 13 by 13 square. Now it's a 12 by 13, and now it's 12 by 12. And more importantly, on this far side, there's the 4, it's a 12 by 12 by 4. Boom. It's very nice for seeing those numbers, because you did not have that in World Edit / Light Matica. Either or, you did not have it. These are super, super nice, because used to you had a weird GUI that you'd go hit a increment decrement button for each axis, which was really annoying. This system is amazing. I love every second of it. But you literally can like do this, right? And now I've copied the floor. I want it to be one high, right? Now, instead of doing like /copy here, what you can do is you can do Control plus C, not Z, right? And this will, or Shift C, my bad, not Control C, Shift C, and it'll copy this, and then when you swap to your paste tool, which instead of having to do /paste, you now just have a tool for it. Boom! Would you look at that? It's the floor. Ta-da! And you just do a /undo. Right? And basically all these tools kind of are, well, at least the paste tool is literally just the /paste command bound to an item that runs it for you. Anyway, so there's your copy and paste, right? Is your selection and then your paste. You saw me do this one. This is undo. This undoes the most recent either command or action that you've done. So if I selected this, right, and I do undo, boom, it unselects it. But there's also another way of doing this, so that way you don't accidentally do it like twice and jack something up. You can do deselect /deselect. And this isn't another tool that you can use, but this is how you, or well, let's show a use case for redo. I say that. There it is. So now the floor is back. Undo, boom. It undoes your undo, so now you're just confused, but it's much easier just to slash undo it and then continue on. Another thing of note is if I do have something like this, right, and I want to select the area and I don't like it, slash clear, moan. And then you just do slash deselect. And ta-da! It's gone. And that's if you wanted something very niche done that you didn't use a command or action for previously. Kind of like the floor that we copied over here. Right? Obviously, most common tools is your selection paste tool. And I also noted the entity grabber, which I'm going to show you real quick, is this tool, right? This one is very nice for doing stuff like this, where you have multiple entities that you spawn in, and you can adjust the angle and figure out how you want things, etc., etc. And this is how you interact with those things. What? Let's do... Oh. I say that. I guess I can't mess with this anymore because I unloaded the world. Well, that's okay. So, to mess with this in the first place, basically, you have to run /op and then space self to be able to give yourself op status, right? Because if you go into creative tools and you try and mess with basically anything in assets and world without doing that command, it'll just say permission denied, basically. But to do what I have done over here in this chest, you go to world at the top and you'll do spawn entity, and you can choose the antelope, the armadillo, like any of the mobs. There's an absolute ton of mobs. Absolute ton. So you can mess with all of these, right? The position, the rotation, the this, that. You can mess with all the blocks, which is what I've done with the weapons here, right? Okay, I want this material, you drag it over, you put it in this slot. You can resize it. It won't adjust until you actually let go where you want it. But you can make it absolutely massive. You can rotate it how you want. And then once you kind of have it set up here, now you have it here, right? And say that. I wonder if that's bugged, or if I'm just not finding the hitbox. Okay, am I crazy? Okay, some things definitely need to be adjusted. Let's try this one more time. Spawn entity. Let's just do a base. Okay, I don't know. Okay. Okay, well, it seems that mine is completely bugged out, so never mind that. Yeah. Yeah, for some reason I can't interact with any of these. Interesting. Well, oh. And then all of a sudden, I have hitboxes that I can... Is it just... What? Okay, I don't even know. Yeah, see? I can drag it, and there's a whole bunch of commands. You hit L, this I think pops up by default, right? But, just kind of have it where it was, sort of. You have all these different things. The two most important is E and R by default. E, is what, when you have it selected, you click it, you hit E. It's what allows you to drag it. You don't have to click and hold, you can just click once and adjust it where you want it to be, right? So, put it down a little bit, boom. It's kind of where it was, yada yada. You can hit R, It gives you this radial kind of 360 menu on each axis, and you can rotate it how you want. You can hit K to rotate through each of the cheat sheet notes for hotkeys, essentially. If you want to remove it, you hit delete, yada yada. And if you want to get out of the menu completely, just scroll off of it. Yeah, I think that's it for Hytale Day 1. I tried getting as much as I possibly could out of all of this. I've been having an absolute blast, if you couldn't tell, just messing around with a lot of the different blocks. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys are enjoying Hytale and are hyped that it's finally here and out. And I'll catch you next time. Take it easy, guys. Peace.